In the last lecture, we learned something crucial. We learned how to bind to our own properties with add input parentheses in front of it. Super important. Now, you can even configure this a bit more. Sometimes you don't want to use the same property outside of the component as you use inside of it. So inside this component, you might say element is exactly the property name I want to use because it makes the most sense. But outside, so here, you maybe don't want to bind to element, maybe you want to bind to SRV element, to make clear it's a server element, anything like that. Now that would of course not work because now you would try to bind to a property. Angular doesn't know that it would be bindable because there is no server element property in this component with add input in front of it. You can assign an alias. You can pass an argument to add input with the property name as you want to have it outside of this component. So SRV element could be added here. And now from the outside, so from the component where you implement this component, you now have to target SRV element if you want to bind to this property. Element will no longer work. It has to be SRV element now, which is why now, with these two places changed in the app component and in the server element component, we see the same as before, but now binding through the alias. And just again, to be really sure, to make this really clear, now you have to use SRV element. Element will no longer work. So that's a little bonus, a little alternative in case you want to bind to some other property name outside of the component. This is how you assign an alias.